Hi everyone. So in this video today, I'm going to go through how to choose the correct degree subject. So I'm guessing a lot of you guys who may be watching this might be in year 12 going into year 13 in September, or some of you guys may be, just finished your A levels in year 13 and you're going to university in September, or maybe you're doing a gap year and you're going to decide what you want to do going into next year, start university next year. So this video really is all for all of you, really. Um, I'm going to give you 5 points or 5 questions or 5 considerations that you need before choosing the correct degree course at the correct university. So I think these 5 points here are really useful and really key to help you decide where to study and what subject to study. So the first point in terms of like how you choose the correct degree subject is ask yourself this question: do I enjoy this subject? So if you're thinking about studying, let's say for example, I don't know, chemistry, right? So let's say you're thinking about doing chemistry at university, right? It's something that you may be considering. Ask yourself, do you enjoy this subject? So this is probably the most important one. You're going to be studying for at least 3 years, again, depending on the course you do, but at least 3 years, you'll be studying this subject. So you have to ask yourself whether you actually enjoy the subject. Do you actually enjoy what you are intending to study? Because if you don't genuinely enjoy it and you haven't genuinely enjoyed it and you're just doing it because, oh, it may get me a good job at the end of it, you're going to not have the motivation when the going gets tough. So you've got to do a subject that you enjoy. So if you really like physics, for example, and you love your A level physics, one of your favorite subjects, or maybe it is you well, let's just say it is your favorite subject, then maybe physics is a good choice for you. So choosing your favorite subject is a good way to go, I would say. If you're trying to think about what degree is best for me, um, don't worry too much about thinking, oh, I might want to do a career in finance. So let me think about doing finance and economics because that might help me get a job in finance. I wouldn't recommend thinking like that because in 3 years, in 3 years' time, a lot can change. Your interest can change, your career, what you want to do for your career, that idea may change. So things change. 3 years is a lot of time. A lot of things change in 3 years. So I wouldn't say, just because you're thinking right now, oh, I'm thinking about doing a financial job in London, oh, maybe I should do finance. Even though I don't really like finance, but it's going to get me a well-paid job. I would recommend against that. But look, each to their own. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead with that. I would recommend choosing the subject you enjoy the most because even if, for example, you are looking at a financial career, even if you do maths, physics, computer science, um, as long as you do a mathematical degree, they don't really care. As I said in a recent video that I was doing, employers don't really care too much about the specific degree you do. I mean, they will obviously look for degrees in certain areas. So if you're going to do a career where there's going to be maths and computers involved, obviously they're looking for a career where you're going to have, a numerical degree. That's what they're looking for. But they don't really care specifically which degree you choose. So they're more worried about, did you go to a very good university? They're more looking at the ranking of the university, and they're more concerned about your work experience. Have you done internships? Are you interested in the job? That's what they're more concerned about. And your skills. Do you have some computer programming experience? Do you have experience in, like Microsoft Word? Basic computer stuff. Do you have experience in technical skills that may be useful for the job? So I wouldn't recommend choosing a degree based on, oh, I think I'm going to do this career, so I'm going to choose that degree because that's going to help me out. Choose the subject you enjoy the most, and then the career will follow on from that. That's what my recommendation would be. So ask yourself, so if you think about a subject, ask yourself, do I enjoy this subject? Am I happy to study this subject for another year? Do I want to study this subject for another, sorry, I said another year, I meant another 3 years. Do you want to study this subject for at least another 3 years? And then everything will blossom from that. That would be my recommendation. That's probably the most important point. Now, another point that you must consider before choosing a degree subject is this one here. So different universities, even though, probably every university in the country will probably offer a maths degree or something like that, something to do with math statistics, probably every single one in the country. Now, obviously, every single university will have different compulsory modules and will offer different modules because at different universities, they will have professors who have different expertise. So, you may go to a university which has a massive expertise in, let's just say, quantum physics. So there may be lots of quantum physics modules in your second and third year that you can choose in your, let's just say you're doing a maths degree. Maybe you could have lots of quantum physics modules that you could choose in your later years. So different universities have different areas of expertise that their researchers and their professors work on for a job, for a living, for their academic career. So different degrees, even though they're the same name, so even though, there may be a degree called physics at, let's just say, Manchester University, and there's a degree in, let's just say, Imperial College London called a physics degree, they may have different modules in first year, different compulsory modules. So it's important that you look at the universities that you're thinking about going to, and you actually read the courses and you read the syllabus and you read, okay, so in first year, what modules are compulsory? What is the syllabus for first year? So I don't know, maybe let's say you're doing economics at and you're comparing to universities. Maybe the first university you're looking at does a lot of microeconomics. Maybe they do a lot of that kind of stuff and a lot of like economic theory. And maybe another university in their first year, most of the modules are mathematical and statistical. So maybe another university may offer a lot of statistics compulsory modules in your first year. So it's about comparing different universities, different courses, and what modules are on offer, because you may be interested in doing, modules at one university rather than another university. So again, going back to the one that I was just mentioning, let's say you're thinking about doing economics at university, and that you're really interested in the statistical side of things, and collecting data, hypothesis tests, and doing kind of economic statistics. If you're really interested in that kind of stuff, then make sure you're looking at universities that do specialize in that kind of stuff and offer lots of modules in first year where you'll be doing lots of maths in your first year. Whereas other universities may be against, may not be very good at the mathematical side of economics, and they may be actually more interested in the theory and writing essays and that kind of stuff and the philosophy of economics. So again, it depends what you're interested in. So if you're interested in your, as the example I'm just giving, if you're interested in the philosophy, I can't even speak, the philosophy of economics, that kind of stuff, and your essay writing, look for universities that are offering compulsory modules in that kind of stuff rather than more mathematical economics degrees. So different universities are going to offer you different syllabuses and will have different areas of expertise. And this is kind of like my second point down here. Every university will have their specialities in terms of, their big research groups, the big, where most of the professors are working, what type of work your professors are working. So it's important that you do a little bit of research to see, if you're thinking about, if you're comparing a couple of universities, look at what fields they do research in, look at what their areas of expertise are. So for maths, for example, you may get a university which is really, they have a lot of professors which are experts in pure maths. So maybe group theory, abstract algebra, Galois theory. So they may have experts in those kind of fields, but not many applied maths experts. So if you really like your pure maths, maybe you can go for those kind of universities instead. So comparing universities by looking at the modules and syllabuses and looking at the professors at that university is a good thing to do, in my opinion, to make sure you choose the right course for you. Now, my third point is, everyone says this to you guys. You probably, probably have been, you probably heard this point over and over again. Actually go to the universities and actually visit the university. So go on open days, make sure you're going to the open days. Make sure you're obviously making use of that open day. You're going to, seminars on the course itself, so you can actually hear a professor speak about their course and the modules on offer. Walk around the university, do like a guided tour, and visit the city as well. I mean, obviously you're going to be living in that city for at least 3 years. You want to make sure that you're choosing the right place to live. So if you prefer, some universities are campus universities, so they may be actually on the outskirts of a city. So do you actually like the idea of living on a campus outside of a city? Then maybe a campus university is good for you. Or do you want to be inside a city? Maybe you like living in cities and you want to be in a university which is in the city centre. Then maybe city universities are better options for you. So actually going to these places, going to these open days, visiting and deciding what is best for you is what you want to do, because you want to know, sorry, I misspelled this I in visit there. Anyway, yeah, you want to make sure that you go to these places and then you think to yourself, right, what do I prefer? Do I prefer a campus or a city university? Do I like this city? Can I see myself living in this city? You know, are there lots of nice restaurants and bars and stuff like that that I think I'd enjoy, or cafes? You know, make sure that you're actually exploring the place that you're going to live as well. Not just also obviously the campus. Make sure you go to the campus and go to the open days, but also the city. Make sure you enjoy the city that you could be moving to. Now, the fourth point is try to look online for some example lecture notes of first year modules, just so you get a flavour of the kind of stuff that may come up in first year. So obviously, if you're going to choose a degree, you want to kind of have a flavor before you go into that degree of what you may be studying. So let's say again, you're thinking about doing physics as a degree, for example, and one of the compulsory modules in your first year could be, I don't know, let's say electromagnetism, for example, right? So a good thing to do, which I would recommend, is go online and see if you can find some university lecture notes on electromagnetism, for example, or if you're thinking about a specific university, let's say you're thinking about going to, I don't know, let's just say UCL in London, right? And you're thinking about doing physics. Then maybe dropping an email to a lecturer or going to the open day and asking one of the lecturers and professors there, do you have some lecture notes so I can see, just so I can get a rough guide for what kind of stuff you do in your first year? That's a good thing as well, just so you can actually see the layout of potential lecture notes you may get. Again, the kind of things you'll be looking at, the obviously you're not going to understand your lecture notes because you'll be taught that material, but it's good to have a glance before you go into your degree of some lecture notes. You can kind of get a feel for, right, this is what I'm going to be studying, and it kind of gives you a good heads up of the style of the style in which you'll be learning new material. So I definitely recommend seeing if you can get some lecture notes, just to get a flavor for the kind of stuff you will be studying. And you can kind of see, is the stuff that I'm going to be studying really mathematical? So if you're thinking about doing an economics degree again, for example, and getting some, if you ask if you go to like an open day and you go to the professor at the end of the talk about the course, and you say, excuse me, do you have some lecture notes just so I can see an example? Could you email me some lecture notes so I can see, what kind of stuff you do in your first year? Then again, that's a really good idea, because you can then see in the lecture notes, okay, so do I do a lot of maths in this degree? Is there a lot of maths involved in this course? So again, if you're going back to the example I was talking about a few minutes ago about economics, if you're the kind of person that really likes the theory and the philosophy of economics, then if you look at some lecture notes and you see a lot of maths in there, a lot of technical stuff, then you may be thinking, right, maybe this is not the university to go to, because I don't really want to do a lot of maths in my economics degree. I want to kind of avoid that. But if you're someone that wants to do lots of maths in your economics degree and you want to do a very mathematical economics degree, then if you see those lecture notes and you're like, oh, there's a lot of maths in here, a lot of functions, a lot of differentiation and matrices, oh, this looks actually quite nice, then that could be the right course and the right university for you. So that's why I recommend seeing if you can get hold of some first year university lecture notes, just so you can have a little scan through and see, does that look like something that you could potentially be studying, or you could see yourself studying. And then the fifth one, so do make sure you're watching YouTube videos of people who study the subject or the potential subject that you're going to study, and the potential university that you're thinking about going to. So obviously, the great thing about YouTube is that there's so many videos online of people who vlog their time at university. So if you're thinking about going to, let's just say, like Bristol University, and you're thinking about going there, then you can just go into YouTube and type in Bristol University, and you can see, people who go there, and you can get a flavour for what their experience is at that university. Or if you're thinking about doing, computer science, again, you can go into YouTube and type in what is a computer science degree like, and you've probably got lots of vloggers and YouTubers who talk about their time doing computer science university. And again, that gives you a real good flavor of what the degree is like, what the university is like. So again, I really do recommend that. So you want to get as much information as possible about the degree, the course, the modules, the syllabuses, the university, the location, the city that the university's in. You want to just get as much information as you can to make the correct decision. Because it's a very big decision. You know, you don't want to make the wrong decision because you don't want to move somewhere and then, you know, waste time having to drop out and pack your bags and leave again. You know, it's important if you are going to university and it's something you want to do, you make the right decision. So make sure you choose the right course. Choose a course you like. Yeah. So choosing courses that you like, I would say, is more important than choosing a course to help you prepare for a degree. Sorry, for a career. Sorry. So choosing a course that you like and enjoy, genuinely enjoy, I would say, is a bigger, more important thing than choosing a course that's going to help you for a particular career potentially that you may potentially be interested in. But as I was saying before, you know, in 3 years' time, you may have totally different interests and a totally different career ambitions because 3 years is a long time. So a lot can change in 3 years. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend choosing degrees based on careers. And of course, again, you know, going to open days, speaking to students, speaking to lecturers at those universities, getting a real flavor of what the course is at that university and what the university is all about. So yeah, that was my this is my video on you know, 5 kind of reasons to help you choose the correct university and the correct course. But any questions, do leave a comment. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all soon.